thought, like I'm here to talk about thought management. One thing about your mind is that, you see, the kind of people you interact with can also sharpen your minds. The kind of people you interact with, if you interact with intelligent people, you get your mind sharpened. You know what it means to sharpen something? Like, okay, I think you all use pen now, but you've used pencil before. Some of you still use pencil to draw. When the pencil is not sharpened, you can't use it to draw. You can't use it for anything. In fact, if it is not sharpened well, you struggle, to draw with it or to write with it. That's what happened to a mind that is not sharpened. You see, for some of you who have, I can see some who have grown up, probably you're already above 16 or you're around 16 or 15. Some of you have been allowed, you're allowed to handle knives at home. You go to the kitchen, you use the knife. If a knife is not sharpened, it's not effective. You can't use it to cut well. You begin to struggle with whatever you want to cut. Sometimes you have to drop it. Sometimes you have to look for somewhere to sharpen the knife. If a cutlass is dull, it's not effective. I want you to listen to me where there's somewhere I'm going, which I believe is going to change your life forever. Some of you may not know what is happening to you just by sitting here alone. A lot of transformation is taking place in your mind. It's taking place inside you. And don't ever forget, it is your inside that controls your outside. If you are going to change your environment, you are going to change what is happening around you. If you are going to change what you can see physically, the change must first take place where? Inside. And your thought is first inside. Before people can begin to see the fruit of your thoughts. The things we see around us, they are the products of the thought of some people. The chair you are seated on, somebody thought about it. That I need to solve a problem. I need to create something that people can sit on. The pen you are using to write is a product of somebody else's thought. The cloth you wear, everything in this life is a product of somebody else's thought. Whatever you can see. Yeah, thank God for the things that God made. But after God created everything, and God created the man, God told him to continue, from where he stopped. He told him to replenish the earth. God gave him the raw material. God gave him everything. God gave man the land so that we can plant. God gave man everything. As you are now, it's not blasphemy. It's God that walked through us. But do you know that this building was made by somebody? When God created the earth, God didn't create this building. But God created the sand. God created the water. God created every material that will be needed to create this kind of building. To give us an atmosphere where, though it's raining outside, we can still be seated here. You can imagine if all of us were seated outside and it's raining. You will not concentrate. Some of you will run away, go back to your house. You can't stay in the rain. And that's what happens when we refuse to produce or to replenish. And that is a function of how developed your thoughts are, how creative, how constructive your thoughts are, or your thought pattern. And so, like I said, if a cutlass, don't ever forget, anytime you see the knife, you see the cutlass, you see the pencil, and it's not sharpened, you remember that as ineffective as it is, as the pencil is, so also is a mind that is not sharpened. Let me tell you something. Do you know that the difference between the blacks, the so-called black, now I mean the Africans, and the people who call the Oyinbos, it's not because they have two heads. It's not because they have two heads. They also have one head. They have two hands. They are just as human beings as you are. But the difference is the inside. The way they think, the way they reason is just different. And the difference between you, that you are going to school, from somebody that is not going to school, somebody that is in one rural area, in one village, the difference between the two of you, sometimes when you meet with them and then they are behaving somehow, you say, why is this person behaving like this? It's because there is a level of exposure, there is a level of enlightenment that your mind has received that is making you to behave at this level of civilization. Meaning, you can have more civilization. Okay, you can behave more civilized if you can be more educated. If your thought pattern can change. If the way you reason can change. And that's why when we look, everybody want to run away from this place, go to abroad and enjoy. Some people built there. Those countries that Africans want to run to, the people there built that kind of countries that they wanted. Meaning we want a better country, we are the one to build it. You want to build it rather. You want a better life. God is going to give you everything you need. But you also still need to build the life that you want. Don't forget that I told you that God provided the sand. God provided water. God provided what else? Tell me, what else do you need to make a building? Granite? Huh? No, you know God didn't give us cement. God gave us things to make cement. God gave us stone. Okay, that's good. Stones. Any other thing? Huh? Wood. God gave us the tree. So somebody will have to go to the forest or whatever, cut the tree, and then turn it to planks or wood. Okay, what else? What else? What else? Huh? Huh? Water and food. This girl likes food. And she said food. I mean, those who came to build this house, they ate, right? Okay, that's good. Any other thing? Sand. Okay, God bless you. Any other thing? What about the iron? Huh? Or we don't know that there's iron in this building. Huh? Huh? The sun, okay. The sun have to shine to dry. That's good. Okay. So, what I'm saying is that God did his own part. If you can hear me, I want you to say, shh. Let's say that again. Shh. Okay. Now, what I was saying in essence is that God did his own part by giving us all the raw materials. And then he left everything to us to make whatever we want to make out of it. So what happens? When your mind is sharpened, you become very effective. The essence of education is beyond the certificate. I know education actually is to train us for, especially as you get into the university. The higher you go, the thing becomes narrower. They want you to pick something you want to study specifically. For instance, how many of you are in commercial class? Commercial classes? Wave your hand, you are in commercial classes. Oh, few. Science. Okay, we have more people in science. What about art? Okay, I guess some people are still in primary school. Some that are not even raising there. Or, what is it called? Junior secondary school. But you know, by the time you leave the secondary school and you want to get into university, you'll be asked to choose one course. Probably if you are in science, you choose a course like medicine. Meaning they want you to narrow. There are a lot of scientists that are not into medicine. So they want you to narrow it down, and then you pick, I want to be a medical doctor. And I want to be able to solve a problem. What's the problem you want to solve? I want to be able to, help those who are sick. Are we together? I don't want you to be distracted. I want to be able to help those who are sick. And then you focus on that, you are trained. But do you know that there are a lot of courses that even when you are done schooling, when you come out, you will still need to be trained for you to be employable. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. This is where I'm going. That the primary thing that education will do for you may not really be to be able to give you a job. But it helps the development of your mind. And that's the reason why the kind of people you also interact with is doing something to your mind. Is it that your interaction or the people you interact with is helping, they help you to sharpen your mind, or they make it dull? Which other word? Blunt. I listened to the last, the teacher that just left, and was talking about the use of phone. He mentioned that, right? So he was saying if you see him with the phone, there are things he's checking, he's getting some information. It's not just about playing games and like that. But unfortunately, that's all that what preoccupies the minds of many young people is just entertainment. It's just fun. And so when you look at the mind, the only way the mind has been conditioned is to just, it's just about fun. It's just about entertainment. It's just about enjoyment. In fact, even when they watch a movie, it's just all about to laugh and then just play around. But you don't know that people who make such films, they sit down. They engage their minds to be able to produce such films, and people are paying them. Maybe you don't know that for every clip, whether skit or whatever they call it, you watch online, people get paid for it. Those who upload it, they are making money. And then you keep watching them, and then you make money. They make money. Why you keep watching them? Because you are burning data. You use your data, or you use your uncle's or whatever, your parent data, and those people are getting richer. I want to just lay this foundation that the mind of a man can be sharpened for effectiveness, for being creative. There is a way your mind can be sharpened. Yeah, you have asked that some people are genius, and you feel that probably they are just created like that, that geniuses are born. They are not made. It's just God that created them. You may be created a genius. If your mind is not trained to be productive, to be creative, to be constructive, to focus on positive impact, the brain will just rot. The person will go through this life and have no impact or have nothing to show for it. And if you have somebody that you look as if, oh, this person is not a genius, even to grasp, to understand something in class is difficult. It's with time. If you focus your mind and you keep training your mind can improve. You can improve your mind. You can improve mentally such that you are able to conceive some ideas. You are able to bring up ideas. And I tell you something. Growth has no limit. It's not limited by age. I mean your mental growth. Somebody can grow old. But there are some people that they are old, but they keep growing mentally. And so they remain relevant. You look at them and say, this is an old man. But the person is still relevant in the society. Why? Because the person keeps growing. So when it comes to thought management, thought is a product of your mind. That's why I've been talking about your mind. And the first thing I'm laying out, the first thing I've been trying to say is that your mind can be sharpened. A dull mind will not be productive. Even if you are a genius, your mind must be exposed to things that can sharpen your mind. There are some mental exercises. There are some exercises that you do with your mind that help to sharpen your mind, that will increase the capacity of your mind to be able to conceive some ideas. It helps in the development of your mind. As you grow older, there's an expectation that you should be growing mentally. That's why if you are, God forbid, there are things you don't expect of this girl now at his age. Somebody that is 15 years old and is behaving like, somebody that is 2 years old. As you are seated now, you just see somebody stand up and begin to run around, and he's 15 years old. Somebody will know that the people will know something is wrong somewhere. At your level now, there is something that is expected that with your age, there is a level of mental development that is expected of you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? But that's just the least. There is a way even someone of this age will behave that you begin to wonder, are you sure you are not older than this? Have you seen things like that? That girl is just a child, though. It's just 7 years, just 15 years. But the way this girl is behaving, the level of wisdom, the level of reasoning, the way this child is reasoning, even when the child wants to contribute. For some of us who read our Bibles, where you notice that was said about Jesus. When he was we were discussing with the teachers of the law. They were wondering, where did this boy of like 12 years old, where did he get this kind of wisdom? The essence of going to school, we are sorry, we still trust God that there's going to be improvement in the quality of our education. But it's not just about passing exam. Have your report card and say you are first, you are second, and then have certificate at the end, and our country is still the same way it is. And there is no visible development in the country. I heard when the last teacher was talking about China or so, how the children in secondary school, they are the one producing a lot of things we are using here. Why? Because the focus of their own educational system is different from what we do here. Our focus is just, where is your certificate? What did you score? Whether the child cheated in the exam or whatever, somebody sat down to write exams or impersonated or whatever. No, as long as you have that certificate and you have some connection, they will give you a job. And that's why we keep saying that there are no jobs outside. So people create jobs. You don't understand. For there to be job, the jobs must be created. So if jobs are not being created, there will not be job. And that's the problem. That's the gap between when people go to school and then we don't have real education. They come out not being able to make any impact, not being able to make any change. So your mind must be sharpened. When your mind is sharpened, it helps you to be able to conceive great ideas. At your age, don't let anybody think that I'm still a teenager. I should know. Everything should just be about fun. No. At your age, there are people of your age that are already doing great things in other countries. And it is a product. The first thing is the product of what they expose their minds to. I want to just say some few things before I move on. Apart from fun, what do you think affects our minds here in Nigeria and probably this environment? Apart from fun and entertainment that are preoccupied, that predominate our thoughts as young people, what other thing do you think? Okay. Peer group, okay? It says peer group also affect our thought our thought pattern or thought process and the mind. Any other thing we want to add? Huh? If you want to talk, just raise up your hand and okay, please stand up. Bad friends, okay? Bad friends. That's the wrong association. Yeah. Let's have it. The environment. Thank you. God bless you. You people are like you can see my notes. I wrote here the pressure. I wrote here environment. Your environment can affect your thought process. That's the reason why some schools. Do you know that some of us don't know that excursion is part of education? They just want you to change that environment. Take it to another environment that will begin to see that this environment is different from where you are coming from. And that can be a source of inspiration. There are people who have done great things by just visiting some places. Are we together? Do you understand? That they will just visit a place and they look around and say, if they can have this kind of a thing here, that means it is possible in my environment. For instance, if you live here and go to somewhere on the island, and then by the time you come back and say, if they can have that kind of thing, then we can have it in Apapa here. We can have it in this local government. You go for excursion or you go for a debate or competition. You mingle with students from other schools. And you see the way they perform. You come back home and say, no, if somebody of my age, that's the power of association or peers or peer group. Hello, are we together? If you meet somebody of your age mate, somebody that is your age mate, doing something, and you come back and say, if that person can do something like that, then I can do the same thing. So what you consume can affect, we have mentioned environment, you have mentioned the association. What you also take in can affect your thought process, the way you think. What you consume mentally. You eat food to feed your physical body. But there are things you also take in to feed your mind. Are we together? Are we together? So there are things you take in to feed your mind. When I started, I talked about the sharpened mind. The next one now is the well-fed mind. Okay, let me ask you. If you don't eat for 7 days, what will happen? You don't eat food for 7 days. How many of us can do it? 7 days without eating. Okay, you can do it. You have done it before. Okay, 7 days without eating. And whether fasting or not fasting, you are not eating for 7 days. You just faint. You'll be weak. You said what? You have done it before. So what happened to you? You were feeling dizzy. As if you wanted, oh, okay. Very weak. Somebody said very weak. He also said he has done it before. That he felt very weak. And were you able to jump around, do some exercise? Huh? No jumping around. Huh? He said your body will be doing somehow. Huh? Hallelujah. Okay, so it means that your body, this your physical body needs food rather. You need to feed this body to have energy, to have strength, to be able to do whatever you want to do. But the same goes for your mind. There are things that are like poison to your mind. If I tell you that this is Coca-Cola, And just before you drink that, you open that bottle to drink it. I tell you that there is poison in this drink. You won't take it. If I tell you that, just put small sniper, just small. You won't collect it. Why? Because you know it's dangerous. It's poisonous. It can kill. But we are careless about what we consume, what we put in our minds, because we don't know the implication. You don't know that there are implications. It looks as if you are normal, nothing is happening. I can watch it and nothing will happen. Whatever you see with your eyes, whatever you hear with your ears, have access. They can go straight to your mind, and they can begin to affect your thought process. And whatever you think about, whatever becomes a predominant thought in your mind, what you are thinking about is what you eventually become. Is what will happen to you. Is what will take place in your life. Is what you will become. What you spend the whole time thinking about. So if you spend every day consuming a particular material, for instance, if it's a material that is that has to do with lust, with immorality, of course you see them cheaply on internet these days. Even when you are not asking for them, if you have an Android phone, and have access to internet, you don't need to ask for it. There are different clips or whatever that will come. And if you keep consuming that every day, it does not matter who you are. It's with time. You see that you begin to struggle with some things. Because what you consume mentally will determine your thought process. You begin to think about it. You begin to imagine it. You begin to imagine it. For instance, you watch a clip that has to do with immorality, and then you keep consuming. It will form a kind of picture. Your mind has the ability to create pictures. That's what we call imagination. You begin to imagine yourself doing that thing. You begin to imagine yourself doing the same thing. And over the time, as you begin to imagine yourself, all that remains is just an opportunity for you to practicalize it. And when the opportunity, the environment, or the opportunity presents itself, you just find yourself in an environment where it's possible. It will happen. And that's what is happening to a lot of young persons. You can imagine you consume the same, she consumed the same, another boy consumed the same. By the time you meet, because your minds are being, is it contaminated now? Corrupted. You begin to live a corrupt life. You have a lifestyle that will mirror your thought pattern. That will show your thought pattern. That will show what is happening to you. I don't want to quote many scriptures, but the Bible has a lot to say about the mind. For instance, that the man thinketh in his mind, so he is. Meaning you are a product of your thought. In Matthew also, the scripture says that everything that comes out of a man is first a product of his thought. In Matthew 15. So whatever happens to you is a product of your mind. And that's why there are many things seeking to take control, to dominate your thought pattern. Because it's a matter of time. If you think you are a failure, it's a matter of that. As you keep thinking about it, evil thought, as you keep meditating, you keep thinking, it will take roots. It will begin to grow. And once it grows, it becomes a stronghold. Such that before you can break that kind of mindset, that's what they call mindset. You have, hello, are we together? I will soon be asking some questions, so I need you to pay attention. So that when I call you or point at you, you'll be able to answer. This is what happens. When you begin to think over a particular thing, you consume a material. or you are in an association with you are with friends where they keep discussing some things. Anytime you are together, they are not thinking about anything educative, anything creative, anything that can bring impact, anything that is good, anything that is helpful. That's not what they are thinking about. Anything that can help you to become somebody great in life, to achieve your vision, to become somebody of honor, somebody of relevance, somebody of respect in the future, whether you are a male or a female. But anytime you are together, all they discuss, all they think about is immorality. All they think about is all these low thoughts that has nothing to do with your future, that has nothing to do with your beautiful future. Maybe for the boys, all about, there's one girl there, we have to run after, this and that. Or for the girls, it's just, did you see what? That's what predominates your thought. And you keep thinking about that. You keep thinking about that. It forms imagination. You begin to see yourself. You have the picture. Not only that, over time, it will turn to become a lifestyle. Over time, it becomes a strong, once it becomes a stronghold, they call it mindset. Your mind is set. How many of us have seen where they are making blocks before? These blocks for buildings. You have seen, Do you know how they make it? Can anybody describe it? Who can describe? You know it. Come and describe it. Let's hold on. Let him give you.
After the mixing of the cement, they'll put it in an iron box, either the shape of the size of the block they want.
The shape you want that block,
yes,
to take.
They'll pour it inside there, and then by the time they pour it out, it has taken the shape of the container.
It will take the shape. Then what will happen?
You allow it to solidify.
They will allow it to solidify. When it's solidified, then it becomes
Strong.
They say it's set. It will not be set well. Okay. And now become hard. Huh? You say what? They will not sell it. Okay. Hallelujah. No, that's actually what happens. It means that your mindset, after you mix, it's like that, what they call mold. What she said that they will pour the concrete or the sand and the cement that will be mixed, they will put it in the mold. That mold will be the shape that you want that thing to take. After you have done it, you bring it out. You just give it time. Once it solidifies, it becomes hard. But before it solidifies, like sand, you can just use your hand and just break it. But when it's solidified, it becomes hard. And after some time, when they use it to do building, it becomes so hard that if you hit your hand or your head on it, it will be very painful. Your head can no longer break it. Your hand can no longer break it. It has become so hard. So whatever you spend time thinking about over the time, it becomes a stronghold. So be careful what you consume. They determine what you think about. What you keep taking in form of video or audio. Be careful of your association, the friends. Friends are not by force. In fact, one of the ways we know you are growing up is that you are intentional about the kind of friends that you have. Hello. 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 You say I when I say hello. Hello. One of the ways you will know that you are growing up is that you are intentional about your friends. You choose your friends. Not everybody can be your friend. Why? Because if they are not going where you are going, they can't be your friends. You can't go together. If they don't share the same thought pattern, they can't be your friend. I'm not saying they are your enemies. They can be your neighbors. You can greet them, hello. They can be your classmates, but they are not your friends. Why? Because they don't share the same ideology. They don't share the same thought pattern with you. The next one that you mentioned earlier on is about the environment. These are things that also your environment can affect your thoughts. Are we together? Your environment can affect your Your environment can affect your, okay, that's very important. Where you stay can affect your thought. Now, like I've said earlier on, how that this connect to, I'm trying to connect it now with realizing your potentials. How that the way you think can affect who you become, or the ability to become who God has packaged you to become. There is this story of an eagle or an eaglet, a baby eagle that missed away while being very small and found herself with chickens. And the baby eagle, called eaglet, grew up with the chickens, eating the same kind of food they are eating, doing everything. And so the eagle thought that she was just like a chicken like other one because of the environment. Because the eagle or the baby eagle grew up with chickens. They will eat what they are eating. You know their feed. They will eat what they are eating. And then the eagle will look up, see other birds flying, and will say, I wish I can fly like these birds. But that eagle never knew, that baby eagle never knew that inside of him or inside of her was the ability to fly like other birds. He didn't know that he was a bird. That baby eagle lost her identity because of the association, because of the environment, because of the circumstances he or she, the eaglet, found herself. There are some of you that you have lost your identity. You don't have you don't really know who you are because of the circumstances around you. Because of the association, because of whatever is happening around you. It has affected your thought that you are thinking lesser than who you are. You no longer can see your potentials. You can't see the possibilities. You cannot see how that God has put so much inside of you that you can impart and change this environment. You can change the world. So what happened? That eaglet will go out with the chicken, look at other birds. I wish I can fly. I wish I can fly. One day, one of the eagle came so close to where the chickens were to just pick something. And then that baby eagle that had been, spent so much time with the chicken, saw that bird. This bird look like me. Her feathers look like my feathers. The mouth look like my mouth. Every day we just look exactly. Then the eagle flew away, went away. Another time the eagle came. That baby eagle observed again. This eagle look like me. Then one day, the baby eagle that have spent so much time with the chicken decided to try something. He decided to try to fly. After observing that bird that used to come down to eat look exactly like her. Then as the baby eagle spread her wings and then tried to fly. She discovered that she could fly. And from there she flew. And from there she kept on going higher. She kept on going higher until she realized that it wasn't just that she was a bird, but she was an eagle. Meaning that she could even attain the height that is impossible for ordinary birds. But what happened to that baby eaglet? The environment, the circumstance, the association. There are some of us that you have killed what is inside of you. You can't think. Let me tell you another story of how your thought can affect your potentials or realizing your potential. Becoming great, becoming whoever you are. Listen to me. Don't allow your environment here to limit you, To limit what you can, to limit the potentials, the things that God has put inside of you. In fact, don't allow what people around you are saying, probably people from your family. There are people that when you want to try something, they will tell you that nobody has done it before in our family. This course you want to go and read now, nobody has ever read it. Nobody can do this kind of a thing. And that one will make you abandon your vision. We abandon your idea. There is this story of a man who was a fisherman. He went one day to the river to catch fish. Are we together? Where did I say he went to? Okay. So when they got there, other people were there looking also. He put the hook, he brought out a fish. And when he brought out that fish, he brought out a ruler or a small stick to measure the fish. He measured the fish. And when he saw that the fish was bigger than the stick, the small stick he brought, he threw the fish back inside the river. He put the hook again, pick another fish. And he kept on doing the same. He will put the fish in his bucket. He will put only the fishes that have the same length or shorter than the stick he brought. But the fishes that were bigger than that, he will throw them back inside the river. And then somebody felt that this man must be doing a research. There must be a secret behind what this man is doing. There must be a reason why he's doing like that. That the big fishes, he keep throwing them back. There must be a reason. So that man walked up to him and said, "Sir, I've been observing you since you came here. The big fish, you throw them back inside the river. The smaller ones, they are the ones you are taking. Is there any, what's the secret? Are you willing to share the secret?" I said, there's no big secret too. It's just that I plan to eat the fish. I have a fry pan in my house. And before I came, I took a stick to measure the size of my fry pan. And so, coming to the river, I know if the fish is big, my fry pan cannot take the fish. So I throw the fish inside the river. I only take the one that my fry pan can. If I catch you talking, you come and tell us what you are saying. Okay, I caught somebody here. Who was talking here? You were the one talking. Just smile. But what do you think? You want to say something? Okay. What do you think about that man now? Huh? That is. Thank you very much. Simple. Huh? Low capacity. You have BB grammar here. That's correct. Bad mindset. Thank you. But do you know that that's the way many of us behave? There are things you don't even think about that you feel like, no. My fry pan is smaller. When the big ideas or visions come, you just throw them away. As if you are throwing the fish back into the river. Even if it is God trying to give you that idea. That do you know you can solve this problem in this community? I said, me. This small me. Solve that. No, I beg. You just throw the fish back into the river. And then you look for the small fishes. That will be the size of your fry pan. What it means is that the size of your mind will determine the size of the idea of the vision that you can carry. So if your mind is not trained, if your mind doesn't have that capacity, when big things come, the vision, the idea, when big visions or ideas come, what happens is that you just throw it away. And since God wants that kind of a thing to happen, God wants problem to be solved. There are many things that are not yet done. God will look for somebody else. Give that person that same idea. If that person also look at that, no, 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 I can't carry it. The person throw it away. God look to another person. And you know, all of us can shine. All of us can become stars because there are a lot of problems in this world waiting for solutions. But it's the ability of your mind to be able to capture, to be able to conceive and carry to fruition. There are things that affect your, like I mentioned, things that you must control your thoughts. You must expose your mind to things that can help your mind to be creative, to be productive, to give back to things that will solve, to give back to solutions. Don't allow your environment. Another thing that affects your thought and how your thought affects your potential is this, inferiority complex. You know, it has a root with in your thought, inferiority complex. Inferiority complex is a function of the way you see yourself. And it's a function of what you think about yourself. You look at others, you just feel like, they are more privileged. Look at us. Me, who am I? And then you look down on yourself. You think you are nobody, you are nothing, you are disadvantaged. That's what you think. And you kill the potentials. There are things you can become. There are things you can do. There are potentials inside of you. There are things that nobody has ever done before that you can do. The ability is inside of you. But your thought can either kill the ability or give expression to the abilities and the potentials in you. So while you appreciate others, you thank God for their life, whatever they are doing, don't ever compare yourself with somebody in such a way that you now feel that you are not original. You know, there are people who think that those are the original human beings. As if God created or somebody created, or there are human beings that are not made by God. Every human being is made by God. And if you are made by God, you are original. You are the original version of yourself. There is no photocopy. You are the original version of yourself. And because you are original, and it is God that made you, there are abilities, there are potentials inside of you. And what you think, your mind must be, free your mind from all these thoughts that are, by now you should be thinking of great things, how to solve problems. When you talk, people around you should be, this child, why are you reasoning big ideas? I attended a meeting, I was asking questions from the teenagers. I gave money to one boy, because by the time the boy explained, I said, this is my plan, I want to be this and that, this is what I will do. I was talking about goals to teenagers. I think the boy was in GS class or SS1. And by the time the boy was done, out of the people that came out, I said, no, I'm going to give you a gift. And some of you will feel like, he's become a parent, you don't have so much money. This boy, after leaving school, the father has a car wash. From school, the boy goes to the car wash to help the father. To wash car, to do everything from school. And the boy said his plan now, the goal is that before he sleeps, when they get home around 9 p.m., the boy said he must read about 1 hour before he goes to bed. Some of you don't go to any car wash when you come back from school. You don't even do anything. When you come back from school, it's to play around. And I look at that boy of SS1 who will still read after coming from school, go to car wash. The boy was just like 14 years or 13 years. He will go to car wash. When he comes back in the night, he still have the plan that he must read 1 hour if he's going to achieve his dream. At that level. I'm praying that God will help you and give you understanding. In the name of Jesus. Not just that God will transform you, but He will make you an agent of transformation. You see, you can be intentional. From today, be intentional about the books you read. Be intentional about the videos you watch. Be intentional about the audios, the songs, the music you listen to. They are doing something to your mind. From today, I'm doing summary now. From today, Be careful, be intentional about the association, the friends you keep. Don't feel bad to change your friends. You did not come into this world together. Don't feel bad. If somebody is not helping the way you think, give them distance. Create the distance. Greet them when you see them. But don't spend too much of your time together with them. And from today, deal with that thought of inferiority complex. Nobody is a photocopy of another person. Everybody is original. Oh, thank God for whatever strength they have. You may not be seeing it, but you also have strength. You have potentials. You have abilities. You may not be as fat. You may not be as tall. You may not be as beautiful in quote. Whatever may be their strength, you have your own strength. But because you have focused so much on the strength of others, you cannot see your own strength. You cannot see the area, the abilities that are inside of you. And that's why you feel like, who are we? They are the original. Everybody is original. You are the original version of yourself. And God will help you in Jesus' name. God will help you in Jesus' name. Another thing I mentioned is that your thought pattern, as you think, whatever you think on for a long time, what did I say it will become? It will become a mindset. It will become a stronghold. It will become hard. You will just see yourself that this is who I am. This is who I am. You became that because of thinking in a particular way over a period of time. So one or two questions before I leave. Is there anyone who you have a question you want to ask? Maybe something is bothering you, or there is a thought going through your mind and you want clarity. Anybody? Any question? Okay, we have one person here. Any other person so that we can take everything together? That means you all understand. Okay. Are you raising up your hand? Okay. So let's have you first, then you will come here.
Okay. Sir, what if your the family you came from generation backs, they are not making it, and you are trying to make it, and the only thing you can hear that is not possible. That's our family background. It's not possible. How can you come out for such a thing?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I mentioned it while I was teaching. Don't allow your circumstance. Don't allow the, what do they call it now? Is it the antecedent? Whatever has happened before. Hello, let's have one house. Don't allow what has happened before. A lot of people will tell you that what you want to do is not possible. Do you know the reason? The reason is because most people reason, they think based on what is in existence. For instance, I went somewhere, I think it was ShopRite in Kano. Then I was in Kano. Something was written there. And then it said, every dream always appears impossible before you start it. Why? Because people will tell you, but because they can't see it. They can't see what you are saying. Do you understand? They can't see what you are saying. This thing today was first the thought of somebody. When an idea is still a thought, people can't see it. You are the only one seeing it inside of you. You are the only one seeing the possibility. And so, of course, since they are not seeing what you are seeing, they will tell you it's not possible. In fact, they can tell you different people have tried, they have failed. But if you believe it's possible, with the help of God, it's possible. Because people have achieved greatness with no, with humble background. People from humble background have reason to become very important persons in life. So what matters is that you see it in your mind that it's possible, you believe God, you work at it. Every dream also requires hard work. You have a dream, I'm going to be the first medical doctor from my family. I'm going to be the first graduate from my family. Then you need to go to work. Am I saying there will be no challenges? There will be challenges, there will be limitation. Like that boy that is in SS1 who must go to work for his father in the car wash. But yet he still wanted to be an engineer or something. And so the work, the effort he must put in is that coming back from that car wash, he must read before he sleeps. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's possible. Okay, let's have that. Then you bring the microphone forward.
So I want to say, let me say I'm a girl like this now. And every time
I didn't hear you.
let me say I'm a girl.
You are a girl now.
Anytime I do small thing, they will just shout for me and start abusing me, my homo. Apart from peer pressure and the environment stuff. If they abuse me now, when I'm emotionally abused, does it also affect my thoughts?
Yes. For some people who have gone through some abuse before, that can also affect your self-image and affect your self-worth. Can affect the way you see yourself. Can affect the way you see yourself. But, that you can do something about it. That's the essence of this course, thought management. It means that you can take charge of your thoughts. It means you can control what goes through your mind. Because what anybody is saying is coming from outside. But you are still the one, you are still in charge. You can determine that this thing, I'm not going to keep thinking about it. I'm not going to begin to think, oh, they say I'm worthless. They say I'm, brainless. They say I'm this and this. And begin to think that until you accept it. No. When they say it, you reject it. And for those who are born again, who read the Bible, you know that whatever anybody says is not as important as what God says about you. Their opinion is their opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Somebody can look at you and say, you that I'm looking at, you cannot make it now. It's his opinion. Until you accept it, it does not become, it's not validated. It's not final until you accept it. So there are people that the devil will just sponsor. Even those who don't know you. You are just going on the road. Someone just come and just be laughing. And just look at that, you. They are sponsored by the devil to be able to affect your self-worth and self-image. So you have to determine that I'm familiar. I'm familiar with that. You want to become great. People will come around, discourage you, say you are not this, you are not said, you are not good. That's their opinion. What God says about me is what is because of our time.
Okay, sir, you were talking about cutting off from friends who don't add value to your life.
Yes.
What about a situation whereby you have a friend who will always come around, and this friend don't really have anything important to say to you, but will not want to leave, and you have something really important to do, but you know that that friend will distract you from doing that thing. How will you send the friend up without really telling the person? Like, how will you make the person leave?
You see, at the initial stage, you want to be courteous. As in, you don't want to sound rude or harsh, okay? You may say, can we talk later? I'm actually in the middle of something before you came in. I have something to do. So if that person is, don't let me use that word, so people will just go like that and understand you. Give you that space. Do whatever you want to do. But I know at your level, some friends can be naughty. But as you grow up, every adult understands if you say that, can you just give me? But at your level, they may be, no, shut up, which place? No, we must do this thing, and then the person is. Then you need to be more serious. The person need to get that message. You are serious with your life. You are serious with what you are doing, what you are talking about. You really want this time to yourself. And sometimes you can plan ahead. I have a pastor who said then, when he just got born again and growing, friend, we always come to see him every day. The time he has planned to read the Bible. It's as if the person just know the time. Once they carry the Bible, you just have a knock and then we'll sit down. They will Jesus. And that's why the Bible said for that day is gone. The second day is that same time. So it just came one day when it was fed up with it's like devil is using as the person knocked, he carried the Bible. He was holding the Bible and the person standing by the door. As he went, Shola, the name of the person is Shola. He just pointed at the Bible, was praying. And he closed the door back, went inside, locked the door. The person got the message. He will never come again. He may be angry, but it's just for a while. After that, sorry for what happened that day, but my decision is still my decision. Let's put our hands together for Jesus.
Wow. Were you blessed? Can you give the summary of what we have learned today? I know that. Anybody? This. Oh, good. Come. What you become is a product of your thought. So if what I become is a product of my thought, it means my thought is very important. My future is dependent on it. My accomplishment in life is dependent on it. Can you see? So what you become is a product of it. Fantastic. Good one. Another person want to tell us summary of what you have learned? Wow. The thought you dwell on becomes your mindset. And once it is set, it becomes a strong hold, kakaraka, and begins to control your life. And it can become what they call a limiting factor in your life. It limits you. That stronghold. Just like a story that was told about an elephant that was tied to a place with a rope. When he wants to go like this, there is a rope that draws. So it cannot go beyond a particular level. It goes like this, the rope. So after some time, they remove the rope. So the elephant still remain on the same spot. He wants to move like this, stop like this. He wants to move like this. And yet the rope is no longer there. Please, what has happened? The rope has left the body. It has entered the mind and become set. So how far you are going to go in life is a function of your mindset. So if the mind has been set to a particular thing, it hinders you from making progress in life. Very, very serious. Very serious. Somebody's okay. A positive mindset brings positive result. Good. Yes. It should be self-determined. Yes. An unsharpened mind is an unproductive mind. Will not produce. Wow. So that means it affects your actions, affects your words, affect everything about you. For example, if you are given to watching pornography, will that affect you? Will it affect you? You are given to watching horror film, will it affect you? If you are given to watching means and books, reading means and books, you read them and how they are fantasizing, will it affect you? That's what leads some people to having masturbation. Your masturbation is a product of the things you have consumed. You have fed your mind with. Wow. Powerful lessons. What to feed your mind. And some persons have found themselves having to lead them into fornicating and not doing, sleeping around and doing. It didn't just start with them. It starts with things being consuming in their mind. Don't allow your background to bring your back to the ground. Wow, powerful. Don't look down on yourself. Don't look down on yourself. Any other person? So from now, if you want to change your thought, change what you feed your mind with. So what are the things that you should read to feed your mind with? Read Christian books, messages, good messages, Bible, avoid peer pressure, be exposed, travel, go to places you have not been, excursion. Those are the things we have been taught. Can we put our hands together for our facilitator? Say, thank you, sir. Great one, great one. So, our time is really, really running fast. Running really fast. So, we are not going to discuss. What's the question you will have for us for discussion? What are the things that affect the productivity of the mind? What are the things that affect the productivity of the mind? So those are the things, that's what we are going to discuss in our groups. But because of our time, we are going to leave the discussion till after this next